Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I wanted to do a simple comparison between the very nice HOTAS system that Hori sent me, their flight system and mount, and the system that kind of got me into this sort of thing, which was the Thrustmaster T Flight X, I think this is called, to kind of compare a kind of an £80 system with a $400 plus or £400 system. And you may say, well, that isn't really fair. How can you compare these two things? They're very different. Well, the reason I want to do it was kind of show you the differences in what you get. And apologies if the chair I'm sitting on is crackling. It's kind of like a wicker chair. To give you, where does the money go, and what are you getting, and why is something like this more advantageous when it comes to flight sims, but also the fact that you can get started with something like this. So why did I get into HOTAS systems? Well, it all started, I've always liked playing Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I would play it with a Xbox gamepad, and then Masters of the Air came out, the Apple TV series about the American Air Force during World War II, and I thought, right, I want to get back into this because I bought the Spitfire from Microsoft Flight Simulator, and so I bought the IL-2 game. So I bought IL-2 Battle of Stalingrad, or IL-2 Great Battles, and IL-2 Cliffs of Dover. But for those, you can't play them on a gamepad really. They don't encourage it, and they don't make it easy. So I had to get myself a HOTAS system. So I picked up the T Flight HOTAS X from Thrustmaster. This was actually second hand. I picked it up for £15, and this got me into it, and it was a pleasure flying my Spitfire around in Microsoft Flight Simulator and flying Messerschmitts and Stukas and all that sort of stuff around in the IL-2 games. And I've made several videos about that, and you may well have seen them on the channel. And then Hori got in touch and said, would you like to have a go with our system? And I said, oh yeah, of course I would. Please send me one. So they sent me this. So obviously you've got a big difference in quality. If we talk about things like the sticks, this has got, I guess they're switches that tell your PC where it's going, where this is all done with Hall effect magnetic sensors. So it's going to last longer, it's going to be more accurate. Things like the throttle on the T Flight are a little bit sloppy. They can flick around when you don't want them to do that sort of thing. Whereas they're lovely and smooth on this system as well. The biggest thing for me is the build quality, but also it's the sheer number of buttons, because the whole point of a HOTAS system for me is the fact that you can do everything on the throttle and stick without having to mess around on your keyboard. And what I would find with the flight system, the T Flight, was the fact that you just didn't have enough buttons to do everything. Sure, you've got your rudder there, and you've got buttons on the side there, and you've got you've got a hat switch there. I think there's a hat switch around the front. Is there another one somewhere? No, I don't think there is. So you kind of pretty quick, you run out of options, and you've got to start using your keyboard on your computer in order to do certain things like maybe your undercarriage, or the chocks, or bomb bay, opening bomb bay doors, or that sort of thing. Whereas you come over to this system, and I think it's got 60 buttons, and I think it's got 5 different axes. I think, because we've got the throttle there, we've got that hat switch, we've got that hat switch. There's another hat switch there in terms of 4-way buttons, or I guess are they 8-way buttons there. We've got another one there. We've got another one there. We've got an analog there. We've got analog dials there. We've got all these switches that we could possibly want, and obviously the fact that you've got different modes as well, which I think you get on the T Flight system as well. So you could have like I guess 60 times 3, couldn't you? So you could have all that sort of stuff. And also on the throttle, we can adjust how stiff it is, but we can also change it to a split throttle system. So if you're flying a twin engine or more aircraft, you can adjust the throttles that way. I guess if you were in a bomber and one of the engines needed you need to throttle it back, you can do that sort of thing. So that's very exciting. Now, I'm not super experienced in setting this up yet. I've been working my way through the IL-2 Cliffs of Dover, because it has a nice little simple wizard that kind of allows you to get set up. and I'm kind of working my way through that. But already I know that yes, although this might be an awful lot of money, having all these extra buttons to set stuff up makes things so much easier, and having the little directional switches as well. And what you're paying for really, I think, is immersion. You know, for every time you don't have to press your keyboard in order to be able to do a function, it adds a little bit more immersion to that flight simulator, whether it be IL-2 or whether it be a Flight Simulator 2, or whether it be War Thunder, who Hori have teamed up with, which is kind of the theme for this particular pack, because you do get some codes for some free aircraft in the box as well. You also get these two brackets. So the idea with these brackets, I haven't got enough room to show you, but the idea with the two brackets, you put them on front of your desk, and it enables you to simulate different setups in different aircraft. So, for example, a fly-by-wire aircraft, you could have the stick to sort of to your right and the throttle to your left, so that you haven't got anything between your legs, if you pardon the pun. But if you were, say, flying a Spitfire or a Messerschmitt or an early jet, that stick, you would mount it in the middle of your desk, so your hand would be there. So that adds again even more immersion as we go through. So I'm not saying you shouldn't start off with something like the T Flight from Thrustmaster. In fact, I probably wouldn't have got into a situation where I would even dream of thinking of using something like that if I hadn't first tried something cheaper. But I think maybe if you're coming into the market, maybe the way to do it is the way I did it, in the fact that you pick up something like this really cheap. I think I got this for £15 on Facebook Marketplace. And then you decide, is this something I'm going to be spending an awful lot of time doing? Because you do need to be playing, whether that be Flight Simulator or the Great Battles games, you do have to be playing them a lot, because you need to have to remember the controls. It's not like a casual thing, which you just kind of jump in and do. These are games that you're playing for hours on end. And then pretty much you'll start to realise, oh, wow, I could really do with all these different buttons, all these different switches, all these different multi-direction buttons, different two-way triggers as well, in order to be able to set up the aircraft exactly how I like it. So there we go. There should be quite a few more videos about the Hori flight control system and mount over the next few weeks and months. If you find them useful, please let me know. If you've got any questions, please let me know. If you've got any hints or tips, let me know as well. And if you found the video useful, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And of course, I will see you again soon.